Assalamu alaikum dear students. Today we have week number 8, lecture number 2, Advanced Theory and Computations. We have a very quick review again, some basic concept recall about deterministic finite automata. So deterministic finite automata or DFA having a finite number of states, right, that accept or reject string of character. By passing them through a sequence, it is uniquely determined by each string. Mean to say, whenever we want to move from one state to another state, so we have a some sequence, and this sequence is a unique one to identify or to reach some specific tasks. The term deterministic mean it is the fact, right? The fact that is must have some condition from given data sets, right? So that's why they mention over here. It is referred to the fact that each string, right, and thus each state sequence is unique, right? As I said before, mentioned over here in the second point. So it is required to move from one point to another point. We have some string, right? That string must satisfy condition of the question which is mentioned over there. Further, in DFA, a string of symbol is passed through a DFA automata. In each input symbol will move to the next state that can be determined. So that's why we use the deterministic finite automata. So we do not have any empty passing string in this deterministic finite automata. These machines are called finite because there are a limited number of possible states which can be reached. As I said before over here, so we have limited our finite state in DFA, which accept or reject the string according to the condition mentioned in the question. A finite automata is only called deterministic if it can fulfill both the condition, right? So it is a very important thing. What to say, what does it mean of both conditions? The both condition that we have the initial state, right? And the initial state after we have a very important one, that is the transition between any two states and the final state as well. So usually we call it, normally it's a two state or two condition over here. Okay, further, DFA differ from non-deterministic automata and that the latter are able to transition to more than one state at a time and can be active in multiple states as well, right? So what does it mean over here? It's showing the differences between the DFA and NFA, right? So NFA can execute many or multiple states, as I said mentioned before in the previous lecture. It is executed states in some multiple tasks, right? So whenever it does not have any kind of a valid point or valid string from the condition, so we can reach to final destination using the empty string. So that is one kind of a quality, or sometimes it's not a quality. It depends on the nature of the problem. In this slide, we will know about some basic component which help us to create the DFA, right? Usually we have studied already in the previous lecture. So let's see in very detail how we can use these different element or attribute which recognize the DFA, right? So usually a DFA contain 5 component, right? Or sometimes it's called 5 tuple, okay? So what are these? As we know earlier in the previous lecture, it must have a finite number of states, like we have the condition over given in the question, right? So it will tell us whether how many states are there based on the condition in the question. So there must be initial, right, and there must be final state as well. So we have finite number of states, include both initial and final, and the intermediate nodes as well, right? Then we have a number of symbols, right? So that is a condition, like for example, they say it start and end with same letter like 0 or 1. So it means there are two element in this data set like 0 and 1, right? So this is we are talking for that thing, okay? It's also infinite number. Then we have there should be some transition between any two states which execute or which move us from one state to another state. Then we have the initial state, right, which is the starting state, and the final state, which is the accepting state, usually we call. Further, in this slide, we will recognize 5 tuple with some symbolic representation, right? So these are the English statement, right? So how we convert these English statement into different element and or attribute and some mathematical form. So we have over here the 5 tuple as we have according to 5 number over here, 5 tuple. So same we have a representation for each line, right? So we have there are states, right? So if we know from here, from this bracket, so this means the capital Q means we have number of states, right? So it could be initial, intermediate, and the final state, right? And this summation case, it represents the number of elements and data sets, right? This is like 0, 1, A, B, and so on, right? And this sigma symbol, this is mean the transition. Whenever we need move from one point to another point, so this is called this transition, right? So this is the symbol. So we can use transition A, maybe sometime power, maybe sometime N, maybe sometime A, B, and so on. In the superscript and subscript we can use, right? And the Q naught, which is usually we represent the beginning or the start state, and F mean the final state, right? So usually this is the some kind of we call some mathematical form, right? So that's why. Let's see over here, input symbol, input alphabet represented by sigma symbol, summation symbol. Transition function represented by sigma. A start state symbol, which is represented by Q naught, and a final state, which is represented by F symbol, or which is belong to the capital Q, because we have many states in this capital Q. Here we have only the different wording we are using for the final state, right? So sometimes we call final, or sometimes we are using accepting. So both have same meaning for the final state, okay? Refer to the fact that on each input there is only one state to which automaton can make transition from its current state, right? So it means that whenever we move from one state to another state, so we have at least or at most one input character which move from one state to another state. It's very important for us. Two preferred notation for describing automata. Okay, so there are two important things we describe the deterministic finite automata. The first one, we have the transition diagram, as we know from the previous lecture, and the other we have the transition table, or sometimes we call next state table. So let's see, have a brief definition and brief explanation of these two notation used for automata. Okay, before going to the explanation of transition diagram is very long explanation. So before covering the transition diagram, so we have to see and know about the transition table, how we can design the transition table, and what could be the possible element and the transition table, and how we can combine, or how we can combine the X column with Y column, mean to say a row into column, right, and vice versa, how we can make the relationship between these two, right? So what does it mean, the transition table? Like for example, we have a data set 0, 1, and we have 3 or 4 states. So how we can make the relationship between 0, 1 input data set and there's different different states. So these are important things which we'll show using a transition table or the next state table. Okay. So both have the same explanation. Let me read from here. A transition table is a tuple representation of a transition function, okay? So this symbol represents a transition, okay, as a transition function. Next, two important arguments. The first one, we have the input symbol, and the second, we have the return value, right? This is very important. And of course, the state is very important. With the state, we cannot make transition table or transition diagram, okay? The entry for the row corresponding to state Q This is actually make the relationship between the rows and column, right? So how we can make the relationship between let's see state A with the 0 and what are the state that over here it has been covered or moved. So we usually present in the form of transition Q, which is the state, and A, which is the value. So what is the data set value? That is A and B, right? So that's why we mention A and B, okay? The state that the defect goes to when it is in the state Q and the input A is received, right? So it is very clear from this definition. Q is the state, right, in A, which is the transition value. So how we can represent this thing using the transition table? So we usually represent in the form of function, transition function. So this is the symbol transition function, Q, which is the state, and A, which is the transition value, which move from state Q to next state. It could be any state name, right? So the value which has been used between these two states, so it is A, right? Now we have a transition diagram. It is very explanatory over here in this lecture. Okay, next we have a transition diagram. Transition diagram is the same explanation which I explained over here, right? So we have a more technical form of transition diagram, right? So it's a graphical representation of data distribution finite automata, right? So it is like a DFT, data flow diagram, right? So we have the states. So the states actually are the nodes, right? Then we have arcs, which represent different transition function, right? For example, they have mentioned an example. If we move from state P to state Q, so usually we need to label them. So usually we represent any kind of labeling for them. So that's why we have the arc over here. Right? It's a direction actually showing, right? Then we have arrow label, which is very important to show the start and end of the transition diagram. And the final we have the double circle, which shows the final steps, right? Now we have some example to further explain about the transition diagram and transition table. So this is a transition diagram, right? The question is transition diagram for DFA that accept all string with a substring 0, 1, right? So actually the basic aim of this question that we have such a DFA which accept 0, 1 from a set of 0, 1, right? So that is very important. So how we usually define or design DFA? So we know start, which is A. Then we then the question is 0, 1. Then they're basing on 0, 1. So we have 0 between states A and B. Then we have B to C, which is C is the final. So we have the 1, right? So this is the basic condition as we know. Then we have the user can like say start with the 1, right? So start with 1. So we have to use the loop on the A, right? And 0 is also available here, so that's why we cannot put 0 over here, right? Another case as well, the user can also say like 3 times 0, right? So we can say 0, and 2 times 0 we can read from here, and 1 and so on, right? So this is a very basic example. So let's see another thing about the transition table for DFA, right? So as we know from here, so how many elements are there in the total sets? That is 0 and 1. And how many states over here? We have 3, A, B, C, right? So we have to very clearly mention these are the old states, A, B, C, and we have the input symbols or data sets, so 0, 1, right? So according to here, if for example I want to reach A to B, right? So what could be the transition value? If I see from here, so this is 0 between A and B, right? So I can mention B for 0, right? Then we have 1, if I want to achieve 1, right? So one it called the recursive statement, it's called A, right? So that's why we have mentioned A, right? So for B, if I reach to B, right, so it is 0, and B also goes towards C, which is 1, right? So this is B and this is C. Let's see the C. So the C reads two things. One is 0 and one is 1, right? So we can mention C for both values or both symbols, right? So this is the transition table about the DFA, right? This is the diagram and this is the table, right? So these are the states, as I said before, these are the old states, and these are the transition symbol, transition forms, right? This thing, right? Now we have some extension and transition function. In this transition function, actually we want to make generalization, right? We cannot write very specifically every time, because usually in technology we cannot focus on one thing problem, right? So we need to focus multi-problem towards solution. For this reason, we need generalization in transition function. So this is why we call extended transition function. So here they have mentioned, like for example, we have M, which is the language, or it's a set representation, equal to curly bracket open. This is Q sigma summation. Sorry, initial state. These are the transition values, right? Transition value, the transition. That's a transition function, right? So let's see. So this Q represent that is the number of states. It could be initial, intermediate, and the final, right? This is the generic state representation, the capital Q, right? And this is the input, how many elements exist in element and data sets. And this is the initial. So this Q now, this is the initial or starting state. A, which represent the generic form of different transition values, right? Like 0, 1, for loop, for A and B and so on. And this is the transition function notation, right? So the next step is to extend the notation so that we can describe equally, concisely the state in which finite automata ends up. It is if it is begin and state Q and receive the string X of input symbols, right? So this is just the explanation about the this function, how we can make it more generic form. So let's we have a form over here. So before going to explanation this function, let's just say we have a transition function Q, which is the state, and X are the different transition values. Like over here they mention A1, A2 up to AFN, right? So these could be different transition values between different states or among the states, right? So let M be finite automata, then we can define the transition function. So this is the transition function Q, which is the generic form, X, which represent different transition values between different states, right? And these are the symbols, the input values, right? And this is the Q, the total representation of this whole function, right? So further we can extend this thing with some examples, so you will clearly understand how we can make more generic form. For this, we have to know a little bit about the recursive definition of transition function, right? So we know the basics and the induction, right? So in the basics, we already know our transition function, which is over here, right? Which is over here and here. Transition function, right? Q, which is the state, and this symbol it's an empty string, empty, right? So that's why if we use over here in the basics recursive definition for transition, so usually we start with the state and then we have an empty string, like n is equal to Q, right? So Q means so it will not go to another state, and it will be it will stay on the same state, right? For example, if we are in state Q and there is no read of input values, then we will stay in state Q, right? So this is the same thing, right? So an induction very important. We need just assumption like if we studied in the previous lecture in the recursive language definition. So this is the same thing. We just need assumption over here. So induction, suppose W is the starting of the form XA, right? So actually they say W is equal to XA, right? For more generic way, more generic form, right? So further they explain what is X and what is A, right? So A is the last symbol of W, right? And X is the substring consisting of all but not the last symbol. Like how we can say these X and Y as the start symbol and the ending symbol. As we know, A is the last symbol and X is the starting and intermediate symbol, which is equal to W, right? So we have an example over here. W is equal to 1101. If we divide it into X and Y, X and A, right? So X is here, it can be represented by 110, right? And A is equal to 1, right? So this is the generic form induction about the recursive definition for transition function, right? So usually we divide into this form, right? So we can just write the generic form for this transition function. The transition function bracket start Q W Q comma W. So Q we know about from the basics, right? And W, so we have the definition of the W, right? So usually whenever we need such kind of representation, mean more generic form, so usually we divide W into X and A according to the definition over here. So the last value we put it outside, like over here, we say we have the same function, right? So this is a transition function, the power, right? Then we have a Q, then we comma and the X, right? So this is the initial or the starting, and then closing bracket for the whole, and then we have the ending, right? And then represent the transition function. So this is how we can do induction, or we just keep more item for generic representation of the transition diagram and transition table, right? So most probably you will understand with some example. Let me read from here. First compute the value of the function, a transition function, right? So that is we know about the starting value of the X, right, which is from here, right? The state automat is then after processing all but the last symbol of the W, right? This is the same thing I explain over here. Suppose this state is P, like, so this is P, like over here, we have C is equal to Q, right? So here V is equal to P, then make the transition from state P on the last symbol A of W. So this is very easy, right? So we have mentioned over here, so we just have just changed the state, which is P. So we replace Q with P, and A, which is the last transition over here, right? This is example. Hopefully you understand this basic concept. It's very easy. If you have any questions, so you may ask me, right, later. Okay, we have DFA, which accepts the language of string that ends in 01, right? The ending with the 01, that is the meaning, right? So it's very easy. Just we know how many states could be among these two, right? So this is Q0 and Q1, it is 0 transition. Q1 to Q2, it's a 1, right? So it's very common. So it has a possibility we have starting with the 111 many times. So that's why we have passed the loop on this, right? After this 0, and after this 0, the user may also ask many times 0. So we can call that many times 0 from here. then we move to 1, and then the user asks, there could be many times 0, so we can get the 0 from here, and there could be many times 1, so we can get the 1 as well. So this is one of the alternate solution with 0, 1 ending, right? So there could be many form to draw the finite automata, right? Now we have with basic example which represent the recursive definition of transition function. The following string are input to the automaton, right? So we have two inputs, 0, 1 and 1, 0, 1, 0 and 1, right? So first of all, we need to execute or trace the input 0, 1, right? So keep the condition, the basics, and the induction, right? So how we can execute the 0, 1 input values as a string. As we remember, we have to start with the initial state and empty string, as we mentioned over here, right? So we start transition function, Q0 and empty string, so it return you, it's Q0, right? As we know from the definition of the regular expression of finite automata. Then we have, according to the function input value, we have 0. So we replace the empty string with 0, right? So further we need the extension or induction. So it is equal to, right? So you just place this thing again, right? This one again, put it over here, right? This is recursive. This is called recursion, right? So you put it this function again over here, and we have the ending with the 0. So we have put the 0, and then we have the old transaction. So what could be the final transition for Q1? So this is the transition Q0 and 0, right? So finally it will reach us to Q1, right? So that's why we have to replace with Q1. Further, it's a 1. So for 1, we have to mention the previous value as well, right? So this is the previous value, right? And this is 1, right? This is the new value. After that, we have to copy this function, the whole function again, right? Copy a whole, and then put the 1, which is a new value from here, right? Then omit the this whole series because we already reached to Q1, right? And replace 1 instead of this whole thing, right? So whenever we execute the 1 or read the 1, so we finally reach to Q2. So that's why we have to draw the or we have to reach the Q2, and the value between Q1 and Q2, that is the 1, right? And value between Q0 or Q0 and 1, that is 0. So this is the important definition, right? Like over here. This is the representation. This is the diagram, right? And this is the table. But this is the extension, extended table or generic form, right? Now we have the same solution for another input, that is 10101, right? So over here we have empty string at the beginning, it's a Q, right? We have 1, right? So then we have repeated this thing again over here, putting the new value, right? So once we reach to Q, or once we read the Q0 initial symbol, so that is the 1 value for that one. So that's why we put the 1, and we obtain the Q0, or we read the Q0, right? Then we have another value, that is the 0. So 1 we have to recall again, 1 0, right? So as we know from the previous, right? So this is the original transition function. This is the initial or starting symbol. This is the new or previous value, sorry. And this is the new value, the 0. The 0 is the new value, right? So after this, omitting by this whole function, we just Q0 and 0. So we obtain the Q1. So this is the another method how we can draw the generic form to reach from one state to another state. Another, we have 1 from here. So repeating with the previous, right? This is the previous. So initial state and the true transition value 1 and 0, and the new transition, this is the 1, right? So once we reach to Q1 and want to reach to Q2, right? So we need to execute 1, or we need to read 1, right? So this is we need 1. So after each we need Q2. Next we have the value 0. So you will have to put it again all right. So this is the same repetition over here, right? And then we reached when we want to reach to Q2 to onward. So we mention the new state, right? Q2. This is also recursive. If we see over here, right? This is recursive. This is recursive for this, and this one recursive for this one, right? So 0, it will reach you to Q1, right? And then we have the final is 1. So put the 1, right? So the recursive solution over here, this one put it over here, and the final value, right? And then we reach Q1, this one Q1 to Q2 by transitioning value, which is the 1. So hopefully student you have understand how we can use this thing, right? Next we have a language of DFA, deterministic finite automata. This is the language or method or mathematical form how we can make a generic equation for DFA, right? Language of DFA, A is denoted by L of A. So what is L? It is L means the language A, which is the representation for DFA, or it's a data set here, right? So how we can define? So we can define like L of A is equal to W. So W we know about the values of W, which is X and A, right? So these are the transition values X and A, right? Then we have concatenation symbol. Then we have the transition function. Then we have the initial symbol, and then we have again, of course, we need transition values X and Y, which is mentioned in the previous slide, from the function F or the final to reach to the final state. This is how we can design a very generic form. We have some example. Okay, DFA with the data set 0, 1 accepts all strings except all starting with 0, right? So it always start with 0. So we know we have at most 2 states according to the pattern 0, 1, right? This is Q0 and this is Q1, right? This is 0 according to the condition starting with 1, all right? Then we have any type of combination, so we can draw from or inherit from 0, 1, right? So this is the definition or explanation about this diagram. Right, so it can accept 0, 0, 0, 1, 3 times 0, 0, 1, and so on, right? There's also a possibility the user can start with 1, but it will not reach to the final state, this Q1, right? So it will not accept. Give another example. Accept all ending with 0, right? So it's very clear. We have one basic condition, so it's a 0 ending, and this is also 0 ending. So we have again there could be a repetition of ones, right? So we can cover 1 from here and from here as well, but important function is this one. So usually it accepts 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 0, 0, and so on, right? So this is another form how we can use the transition diagram. Another example we have set of 0, 1 except those string would start with 1 and end with 0. It's very simple, right? Start with 1 and end with 0. This is start with 1 and end with 0, right? So we have obtained the basic condition. Then there we have many different forms, right? That's why we put it the arc or the loop of zeros, right? Then we have back to 1 and over here back to 1. Another example, except only input 101. So it's very straightforward, right? We have 1, we have 0, and we have 1, right? And then we get the final state. Okay, another example we have accepts even number of zeros and even number of ones, right? So even number of 1, right? So this one 1. This is also initial and final state. This is 1, which is the odd. Then we come here to final state, so we got the even number, right? Same for 0 case, this is 0, and this is also 0. Mistakenly, it is 1, but it is 0, right? So this is start and end with 0. So we can get many times of even numbers, right? Of zeros and ones, right? So what do we know about this diagram, right? Finite automata in the previous lectures. This is explanation. Like Q0, the initial state of even number of zeros and even number of one. Q1 में हमारे पास क्या है? We have odd number of zeros and even number of one. Same we have for Q2. We have odd number of zeros and similarly odd number of one. And for Q3 we have even number for zeros and ones. Right? This is another type of equation which we can use to draw the finite automata or deterministic finite automata. It's very easy. This is the transition function D, right? We have the Q naught, Q2, right? So the transition between these two, Q naught and Q2, the 1, right? So how we can draw the Q2, Q naught and Q2? This is Q naught and this is Q2. So based on the requirements, so we can place or we can fix it in one as well, right? So we have also see to the right side. So the right side is that this is a transition function n, Q naught comma 1, right? So the transition value from Q naught, right, which is 1, right? So it's a loop, right? Because we haven't any kind of connectivity. From here we have again transition function of n, Q2 value with 1, right? So ultimately we will get the Q naught as well, right? So based on this condition, so we can draw the deterministic finite automata. So over here they say actually we have over here 3 states, right? We can make it mix up Q naught, Q naught and Q1, Q naught and Q2, right? Because we have different condition. So in this condition, for this one, Q naught and Q2, which is the 1 value, right? Transition value 1, right? So this is this one, Q naught and Q2, transition value is 1, which is back towards Q naught, right? Because we have to get the Q naught according to the definition. Then we have Q naught, right? And the value is 1, so it means this is the for loop on this Q naught. And then we have Q2, right? So the Q2 is also again 1, so we have also placed the 1, right? So this is how we can draw or use such kind of equation for any kind of DFA or NFA, right? We will see later to the NFA, but focus on the DFA. Hopefully you understand this figure and this diagram with this generic transition function based on definition of this thing, right? Recursive definition functions. Okay, thank you so much, students. Allah Hafiz.